guys, welcome back to Laugh at Jasmine. I'm Jasmine and this is my channel where I talk about mental health because my mind matters and I talk about it. This is part 2, job 2, of how I lost my job. This is actually 2.5 because I actually had 2 jobs at this time. So in the last video, I talked about my very first job at the movie theater. Everything is go, go, go. Everything is very, very strict, very high maintenance, and everyone there was a bully. Nobody was happy. Anything that ever came out of anyone's mouth was a yelling command or an insult. That experience kind of shapes my expectation of my next job, and it is my fear of ever having to experience that again in any job I get today. That ended in fall of 2013, and we're gonna flash forward to summer 2015. So I'm 18 at this time. 18? Yeah, I'm 18 at this time. It's July, and I get 2 jobs. I have 2 jobs. Here's why. So I first got the job at Dinosaurs, and in the interview they're telling me, hey, you know what, we're closing in like 2 months. Everyone else has 2 jobs, so go ahead and get yourself another job so that way when we close, you have something to fall back on. I did just that. On the exact same day I got hired at Dinosaurs, I got hired at this fast food restaurant. We'll go ahead and start with Dinosaurs because they're fast, they're easy, and they make me happy. So Dinosaurs was just this entertainment, amusement, what was it called? Attraction, building, exhibit, I don't know, kind of thing. You go in there and there's a bunch of robotic dinosaurs. But oh my gosh, walking in that place in the morning, there's no music, they've just turned the dinosaurs on, so they're moving, they're talking, roaring, they don't talk, they roar. And you're walking through the halls and it's quiet, and then they're just moving and looking at you, and oh, it just gives you these fuzzy feelings. Oh, I love it. That's probably my favorite part about working at Dinosaurs. So I mainly worked in the dig area, which is where people came as like the very end of the exhibit. So people would come in and their kids could dig around in these little sandboxes we had, and they could find little fossils. We also had coloring pages, and we had a jungle gym in the back room. So my job was basically just to sit there, make sure everybody had a good time, and when everyone left, I cleaned up. Wipe down the tables and recover the fossils, vacuum the sand. Easy peasy, easy stuff. And whenever there was a lull, whenever we didn't have anyone in the building, and I was bored, because all I do is sit there, I went ahead and I sat myself down at a little kiddie chair at a little kiddie table, and I colored to my heart's content. And so one day, my supervisors come walking in, and you know, they're just chatting, and they look at me, and I'm like, oh crap, I'm gonna be in trouble. Because, you know, that's what my previous job ingrained in my head, is that I'm gonna be in trouble if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And so they come walking in, and I'm coloring, and they look down at me, and they have these happy smiles, and they're like, are you having fun? And I'm like, yeah, I am. Yes, I am. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. One day, I had this question to ask one of my supervisors, and they always sit in the very front, like in the, like the registry, wherever you go to like pay for your ticket, pay for admission, check out, whatever. There's also a little gift shop. So they're always in the very front, and I'm in the very, very back. So I had a question to go ask one of my supervisors. Because of what my previous job had ingrained in my brain, I was like, okay, I cannot move from this spot. I'm going to get in trouble if I move from the spot, or if I'm not back there in time. So I'm going to run to the front, ask Lisa this question, and then I'm gonna run right back. And so I go and I run to her, I ask my question, and then I start running, and then I hear her say, "Take your time." And I'm like, what? Are you serious? I can take my time? Like, those words were forbidden in the movie theater. Absolutely forbidden. It was forbidden to take your time. And then we also had this mascot that kind of like stood in the break room, and he kind of took up the entire break room. He was this little velociraptor mascot that one of the guys would wear and walk around Broadway with to advertise. I forgot what his name was, but he was so cute. He was my buddy. Here's a picture of me and my buddy right here. He's a handsome boy. And yeah, I had bangs back then too. So that was dinosaurs. It didn't last very long, but it was a very good experience for me. Now, I worked at this job alongside with, so we're gonna get to that next. And then of course, come August, dinosaurs closed, and then all I had was, I worked there like 3-4 days a week. It was a 50-50 good experience and a bad experience. And the only reason why it was a good experience was because I had good relationships with half of the people there. It's really the people that make the place for me. I mean, what the job is also very important. What is most important is to have good people that you're working with and good people that you're working for. Good people meaning they treat you right, they respect you, they are patient with you, and they laugh. You have to laugh. People at the theater did not laugh. I felt more family oriented with some of the people there. The other people I felt completely out of place with, and a couple of them they did not like me. For the people that did not like me, they belittled me. They always pointed out my flaws. They yelled at me for forgetting something, for being too slow. There's one guy really had a laugh about my being too slowness. He gave me the nickname of Molasses. And he was the real bully. Like, out of everyone that I've encountered in my life that I would say is a bully, this guy, he was the real bully. He bullied me. Like, okay, people have to understand that my brain works very differently from others, and I am not a multitasker. I cannot multitask. I am a one-track kind of person, and I'm very precise. So therefore, if I'm trying to do something, I am very slow with it because I try to do it as precise as possible, and I'm also very gentle. And if my hands are moving faster than my brain, that does not work. It does not work. So I do have a very slow mind. I will admit to that. I am slow. But people have to be patient with me and understand why I'm so slow, and they have to understand how my brain works. And then also, like, with the register, this is one of the problems I had that I annoyed people a lot for, was forgetting where a certain item was on the register. We had a lot of products. There were several different kinds of menus with like the combos and the specials, the discounts, the ice creams, the meals. There was a lot to register in my brain and to remember where each one is. And plus, they don't even like, there's no pictures, and the titles of them, they're like abbreviated, so I can't really tell like what is the number one. I mean, obviously there's numbers, yes, but some things don't have numbers. I'm just using that as an example. Like, where is this burger? I do not know. People have asked for it 3 times in 3 weeks, so it's not a popular item. There's no way I'm going to remember where it is the next time someone else comes to order it, because it was like a week ago that someone else ordered it. And it's in a very obscure place on this register. So working as a server, you have several jobs. You have to take their order. You have to bring their order to them. You have to, well, the meals and the ice cream. The ice cream, by the way, melts if you're too slow. And then you have to clean the dining room. You're having a very busy day. You have to take an order, and then immediately after, bring an order to the person. And then as soon as that person leaves, even if there's like 1,000 people waiting in line, you have to go clean that table up now so that they can go sit down. These people did not want to help me. I was just one person doing these 3 jobs, and I could not do everything by myself. I could not. It was impossible. And so everyone's always yelling at me, there's people in front, go clean the tables, bring the food out. Everyone is yelling at me, and I'm like, I can't do everything, I need help. So one day I was literally, we have the headphones. We have the headphones, we can communicate to each other, you press a button. So one day 3 times that day, I pressed the button and I said, hey guys, can I get some help out here? No one answered. Every single person in that building completely ignored me. Completely ignored me. And then you have to remember what order is which and goes to who. I mean, there's no wonder some people get somebody else's order sometimes. I mean, it's inevitable. Like, you just have to expect that wherever you go. Don't get pissed off at the server for getting your order wrong. Your order just went to somebody else because they're stressed, nobody's helping them, and their brain probably works very differently than a lot of other people's. Like, this is just obviously is not a good job for them. If you ever have an experience with bad service, or an experience where you've been sitting there for 30 minutes and your food hasn't come yet, or your food arrives and it's the wrong order, just be patient with them, because your servers are under a lot of stress and a lot of pressure, and you have no idea what goes on in the kitchen. Yeah, one day, I think I was called in. I think they asked me to come in to fill in for someone. A bad mistake on their part, because they were on drive-through. And I'd never been on drive-through, and they put me on drive-through. Oh my Lanza, that was a awful day. That was an absolutely awful experience. Even Kenneth was like, this job is not for you. He was pissed. He was absolutely pissed with me. Oh my gosh, there was this one guy. First time I met this guy, he was super awesome, okay? My family had come in and we were just sitting down to have ice cream after going to the beach, and he just came down and he was chilling with us, he was talking with us. He was super cool, okay? When I first started working at Dairy Queen, he had already left the job, so he wasn't there at first. But a few weeks into me working there, he got his job back. He started working there again, and he is a manager. So I was like, oh, this is so cool, because he's a really cool guy. No. He was the worst. He was, out of everyone there, the worst manager. He was equivalent to a movie theater manager. Okay, I worked there for 13 months. Thankfully, left eventually. He did not last long, but I lasted 13 months. And we did. We had some fun times. I'm just gonna put that out there. We had a lot of fun times. We did. It may have been a miserable place to work, but there were times that made it worth it. And I'm thankful for those times. But of all the times that made it worth it, when this girl got promoted, nothing was worth staying there. At first, she was cool. I mean, when she was just another staff, she was cool. I don't know why she got promoted to manager, but she did. And it was a mistake. Because as soon as she got the title manager, she was very, very mean. She always had a resting bitch face. And sometimes it wasn't even resting. No, she was just always a bitch. And even Lisa, she agreed with me later on. Yeah, she was a bitch. She was so toxic, and every little thing I did, she yelled at me for. And whenever she yelled at me, she gave me this look like she wished I was dead. She gave me this look like she wished I was dead and that she was going to make that wish come true herself. She looked at me like I was the dumbest idiot on the entire planet. All because I gave the order to the wrong person. Because I'm being too slow. Because I was literally just dumb. Because I'm not good at this job. I'm not happy at this job. I'm not good at this job. Like I said before, I worked at this job 13 months. And only one day out of those 13 months, I went home early. And that was the second day. The second day I worked there, I was crying. Because I felt trapped there. My second day, and I felt trapped there. I went home. But that was the second day I worked there, and I lasted 13 months after that. This girl gets promoted. And I walked out on her twice. Out of everything that I experienced working at Dairy Queen in 13 months, this girl gets promoted, and I walked out on her twice because she was that bad. People like that should never become manager. And people who are managers should not have an attitude like that. It does not make for a happy working place. If you want people to stand by you, if you want people to respect you, if you want people to want to work for you and work in this company, if you need employees like bad, change your attitude. Change the way you treat your employees. Because at the end of the day, it's how you run your store, how you run your business that makes people want to stay with you or not. I mean, a job part, if that's just one thing. If they hate the job, they can go out and find a better one if they want to. But if it's a job that they hate, a job that they're miserable with, as well as being treated unfairly or disrespectfully by other coworkers and managers, they out. And it scars you too. It affects you mentally. Like I've said before, I have a lot of trauma when it comes to jobs because of people like her, people like the other guy, people like the bullies, and because of the times when I ask for help and no one answers, because no one understands me and how I work and what my needs are. No one's patient with me. No one takes the time to stop and understand me, except for this one girl that remains a really good friend to me. And I didn't know this until about a year ago or so, when she told me, when everyone was talking down to me, she stood up to me. And I didn't know that. She stood up for me. She stood up for me. And I didn't know that until she told me a couple years ago. And I really appreciate that. That really, really means a lot to me. That when she told me that, it blew my mind. So thank you. Thank you, Sammy, for being a really good friend and a great manager and a great person overall. Like, seriously, guys, Sam is amazing. But yeah, this girl gets promoted. I walk out on her a second time, and then I texted the boss saying, I can't do this anymore. And that was the end. I have a bonus story. So, I'm 18 at the time, okay? And I have these bangs. I have these awful bangs. I didn't learn until later that if I just shower in the morning and let my bangs just dry on their own, they look gorgeous. They look bomb. But I didn't learn that until later. So at the time, they were all like flat and swooping out like this, and it was not pretty. And the visors do not help. One day, somebody calls the store. Lisa answers, and she's like, you, Jasmine? Jasmine? Somebody's calling you. I'm like, okay. So I called, and it was this guy, and he was, like, asking me out. And he was like, hey, you're just, like, the gorgeous girl. I don't know what he said. And I was wondering if I could ask you out. And so the first thing I think is to ask how old he is. And so he says, I'm 34. And I said, oh, sorry, I'm 18. And he's like, oh, okay, goodbye. Then later, just like a few weeks after that, somebody else comes in and they give this piece of paper to Dorsha to give to me and has his number on it. So I text him, thing happens, I ask him, how old are you? And he says, I'm 32. And I said, I'm 18. And he's like, oh, so there's no chance then? And I'm like, no. This is the first time I've ever been hit on, by the way, to my knowledge. So I'm finding this very amusing and flattering, but I'm wondering, why is it my luck that older men are hitting on me now? I blame the big boobs. When it all comes down to it, it's probably my big boobs. Thank you guys for watching me again. Please support me by subscribing and watching all of my other videos. I'm making a series of all of the jobs that I have had and what happened. What happened and where did my trauma come from? Stay tuned for that. I also have a big announcement. Thank you. Okay, goodbye. My shop is now opened. I'm excited. I'm just so excited. I finally have my shop out. Yeah, I'm gonna have a video up telling you all about it, so be sure to go watch that. It should already be posted by now. Check it out in the link below, and also check out my photography website and my Patreon, because that would be really appreciated if you wanted to become a patron on Patreon. It would help me a lot as an artist because you can help me be able to afford things like supplies and the memberships and on Etsy. So if you become a patron on Patreon, it helps me be able to afford little things like that, and it's a huge help. So if you want to support me, then consider becoming a patron. Also, make an order on Etsy. Cause yeah, I got paracord bracelets. I got my mugs. I'm working on getting more mugs out. Yeah, check out all of my links in the description. I also have a TikTok. Okay, well, I'll see you next week then. Stay real and have a super sparkly day.